Hey everybody, how's it going? We have a tech biz tutorial here. This isn't really so much of a tutorial as it's me just kind of wanting to play around a little bit with Python. I had the idea the other day that it would be kind of cool to make a really pointless Python program just to play around and to make a wrestling simulator, like a professional wrestling simulator. So I'm just going to kind of talk through this as I'm figuring it out. I don't know how far I'll get in this first video. I'll just probably try to get to a decent little stopping point, and then from time to time I'm going to try and add a little bit to it here and there, and kind of see where it ends up. So to kind of get started here, I'm actually going to just make some kind of comments up at the top of what I want to do. I want to have uh, a random selection from a roster of wrestlers. So I'm going to choose randomly select two wrestlers from a roster. That's one thing. I want to have wrestlers have specific strengths and weakness. That's something that I think would be kind of cool. And then what I want to do is I want to have where wrestlers basically kind of roll to see who attacks. Have some form of how the attack's going to look, and the counter or a block. So I'm going to kind of go on here, rock, paper, scissors type. I don't know, type strategy, I guess, if that makes sense. And have it to where when wrestler wins when opponent runs out of stamina. And I think that's kind of enough to really get me started on here. I'm gonna do that. Okay, so I guess to kind of get rolling here, I'm gonna just go with the generic print statement. Welcome to the Python Wrestling Simulator. And then what I'm going to do is I want to have it to where it is going to pick between a couple of different wrestlers. So I guess to kind of get started, I want to have probably a list of wrestlers. And so I'm going to make a roster here. I'll just make a dictionary called roster. All right, roster equals, and then I'm going to put in my square brackets, and I'm going to have, like, I guess I'll start with 3 wrestlers. Alright, so these are just going to be generic names. I'll come up with the actual roster later. So we'll have one that's going to be called Hercules. I think that would be a pretty good name. What I was kind of thinking with this would be that one of the wrestlers to start off would be more of an offensive specialist. One of them would be kind of a defensive specialist, or like really good with counters, and the other person would be kind of just a middle of the road kind of a wrestler. So and kind of play with that. So Hercules, Alright, and then I'm going to have one called the Anaconda. And that one can be kind of like my middle of the road wrestler, I guess. And then I want to have one called Punisher. So that would be pretty cool to have for that. So we got 3 different wrestlers on there, and one of them can be, like I said, offense. One of them can be defense. One can be kind of middle of the road. So that's where these are here. Now, if I were to generate these later, I think that this list would be a good way. Yeah, I think having a list from the roster will be a good way to do that. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to make, let's see, what would be best? Okay, I think actually I'm going to make these be variables. Okay, so this is going to be a list of variables. So I'm just going to call that one Anaconda. Alright, and Punisher. Will that work? Yeah, I think that'll work. So we have a roster made of variables. And then what I'm going to have is each of these variables is going to have a list. And the list is going to be titled the wrestling name. So for one of them, I'm going to put in here, I'll call this one Hercules is equal to and I think this will be alright. I'll have Hercules, and so the first thing I'm going to have in this list is actually going to be his name. Okay, so I'm going to put in parentheses Hercules, and then I'm going to put a comma after that. So if I want to call back to that later, it's not just going to, because if I try to print this variable name later, it's just going to print the values of the list. You know what I mean? So I'm going to have the first spot in this list be the name. Okay, and then the second one I'm going to have is going to be like their energy or their HP. Okay, so I'm going to put for this one, just to kind of start off with, I guess I will go 100. Maybe, yeah, we'll start off with 100, I guess. Hercules is going to be my attacker, so the next thing I'm going to put in there is going to be my offense, and so I'm going to give him a 100 for offense, and then for defense I'm going to give him 50. Okay, so actually what I think I will do is I'll kind of make his HP be kind of in the middle of it, or maybe I'll go 50. I think I'll go 50. Alright, sorry, I'm being kind of indecisive right now. It's something I'll play around with later, I guess. Alright, so there's that. And actually I think it would probably be a good idea for me to put a comment up here, and then I'm just gonna go wrestler attributes key, and then in here I'm gonna put in I'll do this, so I'll go wrestler name, and then I'm gonna go HP, and then I'm gonna go offense and defense. So that way, if I want to mess around with this later, I kind of remember what I was trying to do. All right. So we got the Hercules on there. We want to have our defensive specialist next. So this one is going to be Punisher is equal to, and I'm going to go Punisher. And I'm going to give Punisher the same amount of HP, but I'm going to give the Punisher 50 of the attack, and then 100 of the defense. And this will be like, yeah, I think that'll work pretty good. Alright, so then, and you'll see when I type that in, it takes the underline down here because we have our variable defined above it. And then the last one, of course, I'm going to go Anaconda is equal, and in this one I'm going to put in the Anaconda. Alright, and then the Anaconda is going to have 100 for the HP. And then I'm going to go like maybe 75. We'll try something like that. Alright, 3 wrestlers. There we go. It's our offensive person, our defensive person, and our middle of the road. Little expert in none, master of, or whatever that phrase goes. Okay, so that's our roster. We have our wrestlers up here. We have the roster right here. Okay, and then I'm going to come up with just a simple moves list to choose from. Okay, so in here I'm just going to go punch, kick, and I'll try like, I don't know, spear. So we got a list of moves. That'll be good. And because I want to check these out, because I want to randomly choose from that list of moves, and I'm randomly going to choose items from my list here, I do probably want to go from random import randint, because I'm going to use some number generate or random number picking, and also I'm going to go import random because I'm going to be using some random pickings from these lists as well. Okay, so there's that, and then I also want to have kind of like a way to say who is going to win. So I guess I will go result is equal to, and I want to put in here like, let's see, I guess I could go pin, and another way will be submission, and maybe we'll go one with the disqualification, and then we can have one be like, I don't know, knockout, I guess. That'll be kind of our different ways that you can win for this first part. Okay, so pretty good so far, pretty good to get this started. Alright, so now what I think I'm going to do is I will go down here, and then I'm going to put a comment for this. This is where we start the match. Alright, so usually what I tend to do is I like to have something that's like gonna put me into a loop, like are you ready to begin while you're in. Okay, so I'm just gonna call this one begin equals input parentheses quotation marks, are you ready to begin Y or N. Alright, and down here I'm gonna put if I got a text here, sorry. Alright, so I'm going to go if begin dot lower empty parentheses equals lowercase y. And so this is so in case somebody types in uppercase y or lowercase y, you know. If that happens. Alright, then I'm going to go print, parentheses, quotation marks. Tonight's contest is between. And then I'm going to have some kind of way to pick two things from this list. Alright, so that's there. And then I think what I will also do is I will put something in here like I don't know. We can go, I guess, else, and with else, then I'm just gonna type in here like print thanks for watching. Alright, so I'm going to save this. I'm going to save my progress. And if I run this program, alright, and I go up here to run and run the PWS, then I have welcome to the Python Wrestling Simulator, are you ready to begin? If I type N, thanks for watching. Alright, if I run the program again, and are you ready to begin? Yes, tonight's contest is between. And then it takes us out of the match. And then maybe after that I will go down here, and then at the very end I'm going to go print please drive home safely. Okay, so that way what I think I can do with this, I'm just going to take this last part out and go please drive home safely. So if I run my program, are you ready to begin? Yes. Alright, so it ran through, says please drive home safely. If I say no, then it's just going to go straight down to please drive home safely. Alright, so that's kind of how I will get myself into this simulator. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to randomly generate two wrestlers between here, okay? And if I go here, I can go, I want to pick two from that list. So one of them I'm going to say Contestant 1, is equal to random dot choice from the roster. Okay, so it's going to randomly choose one of those wrestlers from the roster, and then I don't want to risk having the same name drawn twice, you know, especially with only 3 wrestlers. So then what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to go roster dot remove contestant 1. Alright, so I drew it from the roster, and then I'm removing it from the roster, so that when I draw my second name, it's not ever going to pick the same one twice, and having a person fighting a clone of themselves. So the second thing I'll do is contestant 2 equals random dot choice roster, and technically I don't have to remove contestant 2 from the roster, so I'm not going to, because it's not going to pick another name after that, and that'll just, you know, save us a line of code there. So then I am ready to print. I'm going to go print, and I'm going to say contestant 1, contestant 1, and I want to print the name from the list, okay, which is the 0 spot of the list, right? Because you start with number 0 when you number items from a Python list. So contestant 1 square brackets 0. So I'm going to print contestant 1, and then I'm going to put a comma, and then I'm going to put in quotes, versus, I'm going to put a comma, and I'm going to go contestant 2 with a 0. And I probably need to move this over to the end. Alright, so we have contestant 2, and I can go here, Control S, I'm going to run my program. Are you ready to begin? Just to check, I'm going to say no. Alright, please drive home safely. I'll go here, are you ready to begin? Yes. Tonight's contest is between the Anaconda versus Punisher. Alright, and then let's try it again. Punisher versus Hercules. Anaconda versus Punisher. So it seems to be pretty random, right? I think it worked. Hercules versus Punisher. So, yeah, I think that's going to work to get us started. Okay, so here's what we have now. After I have that on there, I'm going to just to add a little thing here. Let's get ready to rumble. Maybe I'll go all caps. Let's get ready to rumble. Alright. So it's going to print that. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I want to have a while loop that is going to keep repeating in here until one of the players is like out of energy. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to put a comment here, and I'm going to say combat loop, I guess is for lack of a better term. And I will put in here while contestant 1 0 I'm sorry, while contestant 1 won, because I want to compare their HP, and if this is the 0 spot, then this is the number 1 spot. So while contestant 1, spot 1, is greater than 0, and contestant 2 1 is greater than 0, and then I will press enter, and I want to have something where it's like they're gonna randomly roll something. Okay, so I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna make a couple new variables here. I'm gonna have one called contestant 1 roll is equal to a randint, and for now I'm just gonna go 0, 3. Alright, random integer generator 0, 3. And then I'm gonna have one that's called contestant 2 roll is equal to randint 0, 3. And I can play around with those variables later. I can add and change them up later. Alright, so it's going to roll those two, and then I'm going to say, what if contestant 1 like rolls a higher number? Alright, so I'm going to put a comment here, and I'm going to put contestant 1 attacks. Alright, and so what's going to happen here in that case? So in that case, I'm going to say, in order for that to happen, if contestant 1 roll is greater than contestant 2 roll, okay, then I'm going to go contestant 1 roll is equal to randint between, and I'm going to choose a number and kind of factor in my offensive number up here, okay, which is the second number of our list, right? Right, because we got 0, 1, 2. Okay, so I'm going to have them roll a new number here, which is going to be a random integer between 0 and contestant 1, and then I'm going to put in the 2 in there because that's their attack number. And that should work. Yeah, I think that would work. You know, to just even simplify this, just to kind of show you what I'm thinking of to have this work, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, I'm going to go if contestant 1 roll is greater than the contestant 2's, then I'm just going to go in here, contestant 2 and then I'm going to put in the parentheses, and I'm going to go 1 is equal to, and then I'm going to put in here contestant 2 1 minus 10. Okay, and then I'm going to go underneath that, and I'm going to go elif contestant 2 roll is greater than contestant 1 roll, then I'm going to go contestant 1 is equal to contestant 1 and then minus 10. Alright, and then in the event that it's a tie, you know, so I'll do something like this. I'm also going to go print let's see, we could go with contestant 1 0 hits his opponent. Alright, and then here we'll copy that, and then I'm going to paste that underneath this elif here, and I'm going to go contestant 2 0 hits his opponent, and then we subtract it there so we kind of can see what's going on. And then else, and then I'm just going to go print the opponents circle each other. So they're like kind of sizing each other up, I guess, you know. Alright, so I think that'll kind of work, and then it's going to keep doing that. And then down here at the end, I'm just going to put something like I'm going to go like I'll put these like maybe in the I think this works. So then here I'm going to go if contestant 1 0, if contestant 1 0 is less than or equal to 0, print contestant 2 0 wins. Alright. And then underneath that, I can then just kind of copy that line here and go if contestant two 0 is less than or equal to, then I can switch this to 1. Alright, so I'm going to save this, and then down here I'm just going to go program has ended. Alright, so I'm saving it. I'm going to refresh this on here. Are you ready to begin? I'm going to try out no. Okay, drive home safely. I'm going to click play. Are you ready to begin? Alright, and we have a little issue here. Okay, so we got a couple of things to look at. One of them is 43. If contestant 1 0 so contestant 1 0, let's see, what do I need to do, is less than or equal to, not supported instances of strings, and oh, my bad, not 0, I need to compare it to 1 because 1 is the HP. Alright, So let me save that, and let me try to run it again here, and I'll click yes. Hey, there we go. Okay, so it runs here. Tonight's contest is between the Anaconda versus Hercules. Let's get ready to rumble. And then here it's going through its rolling. And then actually we didn't have a single time where they rolled the same number. That's kind of crazy. Hits his opponent. Okay, so I'm going to try this again here. I'm going to click yes. Okay, oh yeah, we did. The opponents circle each other. That's right. Alright, so yeah, it works in there. It goes through real fast. So that's kind of our starting point here for how I kind of want this thing to work. Now obviously right now it doesn't take into account anything from these other attributes here. Okay, so I want to come up with something that's gonna take those into consideration. Right, so down here we had if contestant 1 roll is greater than contestant 2's roll, then we got to have something happen. So I'm going to have contestant 1 attacks. All right, and what I think I will do, so if contestant 1 roll is greater than 0 and that, all right, so that's good. Then what I want to do is I want to have a new roll here. So I will do this. I'm gonna take out these lines underneath. Okay. And yep, that'll be fine. Okay. And so I have this if statement down here, and this is going to be if contestant roll, all right, is greater than contestant 2 roll. All right, and then we are going to make another roll underneath that, another dice roll, so to speak. Okay. Okay, so I'll go contestant. I'm actually going to take this line out. I don't think I need that one right now. And if contestant roll is greater than, okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new series, new series of these rolls. So I will go contestant 1 roll is equal to rand int, and I'm going to go between 0 and then I'm going to go contestant 1 square bracket 2, and that's my number up here for the attack. So that should work. Then I'm going to go contestant 2 roll is equal to, and I'm going to go rand int, and this one is going to be between 0 and contestant 2 and the list item number 3, because that's my defense. Okay, see how we're doing that there? I think that should work, right? And then I'm going to put a pound sign in here, and then I'm going to go contestant 1 successfully attacks. So up here we have contestant 1 attacks, then we have contestant 1 successfully attacks. So what's going to happen in that case? Well, I'm going to go, let's see, I'm going to print a statement in there so that I know that it happened. So, well, I could do that later. So I'll go let's see. If contestant 1 role is greater than contestant 2 role, alright, and then I'm going to go print contestant 1 0, which is the name of the contestant 1, and then I'm going to go random dot choice parentheses, and I have these moves up here, so I'm going to go moves. Should be like, you know, whoever, punch, kick. I need to add like an ED at the end, okay? So I'm going to go moves, and then I'm going to go plus ED, and then a comma, and then I'm going to go contestant 2 0. Okay, so it'll tell me the person's name, did their random move, random dot choice from the moves list, right? Yep, from contestant 2. All right, and then underneath that, I'm going to put in contestant 2 1, which is their hit points, is equal to, and this is kind of what I did earlier, contestant 2 1, and I'm going to go minus, and I'm just going to do randint between, I don't know, 1 and 10. We can always play around with those results later, right? So that should be good. Okay, and then I'm gonna save that, and then after that I'm gonna have it check right away to see if anybody is less than 0. So I'm gonna put in here if contestant 2, oops, sorry, if contestant 2, and then I'm gonna put in 0 is less than or equal to 0, so if it's less than or equal to 0, then I can put underneath that something like print I could go contestant 1 0, which is their name, comma, quotation marks, wins by, and then I'm going to go with a comma, and these are my results up here, right? So it adds a little variable to it, or a little randomness to it. So I'm going to type in random. Dot choice result. Okay, and then yeah, I can worry about punctuation and stuff later. Okay, so that's kind of our first thing on there, right? But then what happens if contestant 1 unsuccessfully attacks, right? So in this case, I will put in here contestant 2 unsuccessfully attacks. Okay, and so for this one it's going to be just kind of the opposite of what I have up there, right? I could go if contestant 2 roll is greater than contestant 1 roll, then I could go print, and I'm actually just going to kind of take this one line at a time, and I'm going to paste it underneath, and I'm going to go print 2, and then over here I can go to this and put 1. So I switch those up, and then I can go yep, that's right. So then I can copy this next line there, and I'll switch contestant 1 is equal to contestant 1 minus that. Alright, and then we can go here to the if statement underneath that. And I'll paste that there, and then I will go if contestant 1 is less than or equal to, then I'll go print 2 wins by random choice result. Okay, so that leaves my second choice, and then like before where we said what if it's a tie, so I have if contestant successfully attacks, if they unsuccessfully attack, then what I can do, so like in the random chance that the second roll, which is going to be between, you know, a lot larger numbers here, but just in the event that it does, so then I can go here elif, and then I will go, or no, I'm sorry, my bad, I have an if there, I need to put an elif right there, and then I need to go else. Okay, and then I can print, I could just say something like the wrestlers size each other up. Alright, so that kind of takes all in account everything that could possibly happen in there. And then down here where I have these contestant 1, I can take those lines out because we're done with that, because we're checking for it in here. Alright, so that works. Okay, now I want to put another comment here. What if contestant 2 attacks? Okay, and so this is going to be the exact same kind of stuff, right, that we had before. So it's going to be, I mean, you know, it's going to be the same pattern, right? So I'm going to go if contestant 2 roll is greater than contestant 1 roll, and then I can go here, then I'm going to copy these, and I'm going to put those right underneath this if statement, right? So if contestant yep, so I'm pressing enter. Okay, and then I'm going to paste those, but I do have to change these. So this one's going to be contestant 1 roll is going to be between 0 and 3, or between 0 and their third value, and then this one here is going to be his offensive value. Alright, so I do need to switch those values around, And then I can go in here, Contestant 2 successfully attacks. And then I will go if Contestant 2 roll is greater than Contestant 1 roll, and then I can go print Contestant 2 0, comma, random dot choice moves plus ed Contestant 1 0. Okay, so I'm just kind of going with this line 40 up here, right? Alright, and then underneath that I can go Contestant 1 1 is equal to Contestant 1 1 minus randint between 1 comma 10. Alright. Then I can go underneath that, and I'm going to go if Contestant 1 1 Contestant, yeah, here this needs to be 1 because that's their hit points. Okay. And then let me double check here, is less than or equal to. Yep, there we go. If Contestant 1 1 is less than or equal to 0, well, and actually I can just copy this line and I can put it right there. And then after that, then I can enter and put in Contestant 1. Oh, this one's Contestant 1 unsuccessfully attacks. So successfully attacks, unsuccessfully attacks. Contestant 2 unsuccessfully or successfully, and then I can go down here, Contestant 2 unsuccessfully attacks. And then I will bring this one back 1 level. And underneath that comment, then I can type in elif Contestant 1 roll is greater than Contestant 2 roll, and then I can type in here our little variables that go with that. Okay, so this one here, if Contestant 1 roll is greater than Contestant 2 roll, I'll find that line of code up here, and I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to enter it underneath this, and Contestant 1 roll. Oop, I just have that on there twice, so I actually just can backspace that out of there, and there we go. So now we have pretty much every single possible scenario in which those can happen. I can also go up here where it says if, and I can make this one an elif, and then down here I can type else and then I'll go print. And what did I do before? I just said the wrestlers circle each other. Okay. Moment of truth. We've really come a long way with this code. Alright, so I'm going to save this and then run the program up here. And just to start off, I'm going to say no. And it says please drive home safely. And when I run the program again, are you ready to begin? Yes. Boom. And it flies through it here, and we're just going to look in here. So it worked. It said tonight's contest. It has the two names. Let's get ready to rumble. Then down here, each line, we have our random moves going through there, and then at the end it says the Anaconda wins by knockout. Please drive home safely. So I think that's a pretty good stopping point for right here. My kind of goal, I guess, that I wanted to get done through this first tutorial was to just kind of have it set up and then do a rock, paper, scissors. And then once I started kind of getting into these variables, then I was like, well, we can already kind of incorporate this in. And so next time I log on and work on this again, we'll kind of see what else we can add. But I think this will get us a good start. Shoot me some comments and suggestions in the comments below if you have any ideas of where to go further with this, or if there's anything you'd like to see, or if you're taking this and making it better. Share what you've come up with the rest of us and see how we can make this look. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.